This week, we recorded that Florida now has the 22nd panther death this year in Collier County. That juvenile panther was hit by a car.
And that is the same fate as 19 of the 22 other panther deaths so far this year. Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley spoke to a panther expert and National Geographic photographer about the path ahead to protect Florida's state animal.
1970s, the Florida panther faced the brink of extinction. Today, the animal's South Florida population is estimated around 200, but wildlife experts say more needs to be done to increase that number.
The panther used to exist widespread throughout the state of Florida, throughout the southeastern United States. And the land in their current core territory in South Florida is only enough land to support approximately the 200 panthers that are there today.
Carlton Ward Jr. has studied panthers for years and released a National Geographic documentary in April called Path of the Panther. Ward says in order for the panthers to recover from the endangered status, the animal needs 3 times as much of its current territory. And while male panthers have been detected as far north as Atlanta, Georgia, few female panthers have been known to make it north of the Caloosahatchee River.
But the female panthers, they're slower to expand their territories. And it's just now that there are enough female panthers in South Florida that they're starting to swim that river and show up in places like Glades County.
Unfortunately, those female panthers don't have a good track record of survival.
A total of 4 female panthers verified north of the Caloosahatchee River since 1973, all in the past 2 or 3 years. In that same time, we also know of 2 female panthers that have been killed on the road by cars.
But Ward is hopeful that there's a path to recovery. That said, 1,000 people are moving to Florida per day. It is a challenge to protect the land needed to do so.
The way I look at it, without investment in conservation, most of Florida will probably be a subdivision 50 years from now.
Ward says considering the 10 million acres of public land and 8 million acres of farmland or ranch land, there is space in our state to help rebuild the panther population. The challenge is helping those landowners keep that land green outside of development.
Losses to development average about 100,000 acres a year. That's a huge amount of land. But we know that if we can save the Florida Wildlife Corridor, if we can keep investing in that land protection, we have an opportunity to balance conservation and development and to save a path for the recovery of the panther.
The Florida Wildlife Corridor Foundation says the state needs to save 900,000 acres of the corridor before the end of the decade. That comes out to 10,000 acres a month. That number is similar to the peak of the Florida Forever program, the same program that gave the state its current network of state parks, national forests, and refuge.
It's the backbone for our conservation in Florida, and now we need to finish the job and help fill in those gaps and those missing links.
Florida unanimously passed the Bipartisan Wildlife Corridor Act in 2021. That secured $400 million in funding to protect interconnected natural areas in the state, an investment Ward hopes will continue in the future, not only protect the panther, but all of Florida's beauty. In Cape Coral, meteorologist Andrew Shipley, Fox 4.
And it's always like gut-wrenching when you get another press release that shows another death happened, but it is a delicate balance of growth and protecting our precious wildlife here.
And absolutely. And one of the things that Carlton told me is, we always talk about putting these on the interstates, putting a pass over or underneath. Yeah. We have to have the green space on both sides. Otherwise, there's no point in doing that because they just won't follow that path.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
for the logistical part of it, though, it's very curious when you mentioned that way because people just think, oh, I can just put another road there. But
exactly.
There are some other steps with it.
It's not so simple.